Welcome back. March is the month of women, and we do have a beauty here in the studio. She is a representative of how an Egyptian young lady should be. She is a successful story walking on two. Suzan is a world champion, and in a very clever, in a very hard and tough, and in the same time skillful way of dealing with weapons. She is a world champion in shooting clay pigeon. What are the details, how she started, what are her latest achievements, all this and more we are going to have from her in this last part of this episode of our breakfast show. Suzan, thank you very much for being with us, and you're most welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Suzan, it's interesting that a young lady like you is interested in shooting in the first place. So when did you start?
I started like 10 years ago. It was a coincidence, really. My father is the coach's friend, and this is how it all started.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have the courage to say how old were you by then?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Okay.
I was 26, and now I'm 26, I was 16 years old.
Yeah. Wow. But as Rasha said, and as I think we all have this impression, that it's a very hard and tough sport for a girl when you were 16. What was your feelings when you first hold the gun or the weapon you were using? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I use a shotgun.
Yeah.
And it was I was on cloud nine, really. I was really happy.
Yeah.
There's this rush when you shoot a weapon. Mm-hmm. Unlike most people think, it's not that hard. Everything comes with practice, really. Mm-hmm. Once you know the rules and the techniques, everything becomes easier.
Clay pigeon, you told me the story before, before being on air. Would you please say it to our viewers, because I cannot imagine that I would shoot a real pigeon.
Well, at the beginning it started with shooting live pigeons, but then when human rights movement started, so the banning of the pigeons, the live pigeons, was banned, or where they were banned. So accordingly they started using plates, and they kept the same terms like clay pigeon. They kept the term if they hit the plate that it's shooting, that they shot it, that they missed it. They kept all the terminology that they used to do when they are hunting, but on the clay plates. And there are actually a variety of disciplines. So we'd like to know more about these disciplines.
There are a number of disciplines, but there are only 3 Olympic disciplines. Mm-hmm. There is the trap shooting, which is the one that I play. There's skeet and double trap.
Yeah, double trap only for men.
Yes, and recently they stopped playing double trap. So the next Olympics, inshallah, we will have mixed teams.
Suzan, when was your first international championship?
Actually, it was like 6 months after I started shooting.
Only 6 months?
Yes. Okay. I used to be a karate champion. I was the...
Karate?
Yes. I was the champion
You're choosing
for
the
Egypt.
Tough games, honey. But it doesn't seem
they are the most challenging and the most fun.
You are involved into such martial arts. But when you said just 6 months after being involved into shooting, where was it and what was your achievement there?
It was in Cairo. It was the African competition, and I came in 5th place.
Now I understand that the targets have a variety of trajectories. So would you tell us about that, and how far do you shoot? Like, I understand there are 15 meters plus or minus.
Yeah. Okay, trap shooting, you have the competition is out of 75 targets. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Each round you play 3 rounds. Each round consists of 25 targets. Mm-hmm. You go through 5 stations, and the 6 people with the high scores, they go into the final, where they shoot 25 targets, but with 1 shot instead of 2. And the one with the high score gets the first place, second and third, and so on. Usually the target is about 67 meters away, and you have 15 from 14 to 15 seconds to call for the targets and shoot it.
Suzan, what were you studying?
English literature.
English literature?
Yeah, exactly.
And who is your role model?
Dr. Azza Khula.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the head of our department.
And in English literature?
No one in particular, really.
No novelist, no dramatist, no literary criticism critic?
I'm into deconstruction criticism.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm a postgraduate student.
By the way, working for the hardest part of the story, the hardest side of the coin. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But I understand also that you studied literature as well, Nirmi.
And because of this, I'm saying so, because I'm an expert in the matter.
I'm doing my MA as well.
You're doing your MA in
Yes.
criticism.
Yeah.
I love Dryden, by the way. Anyhow, regarding what we are talking about and returning back to shooting, since you have been participating in international championships just 6 months after being evolved into shooting, meaning that you have been through many world championships, many international tournaments all over the world. What was the toughest one?
Unfortunately, this is not true because the women's team don't get to participate in all the competitions.
Why?
For many reasons, because they say because of the budget of the federation, this is one
Okay.
thing. Other than that, the team, we don't have a complete team. So if
Okay.
you want to compete with a team, you wouldn't have the 3 women to go to a competition, but it's easier with men. On the other side, actually women, they get more medals sometimes.
Okay.
And that's
As far as
the
I
sad
know, I
side.
know Afaf Al-Hudhud.
Yeah.
As we were speaking just before being on air. Any other names you want to mention?
Of course, there is Maggie Ashmawi as well, Nurhan Al-Milyawi. There are a couple of girls who are doing very well. The best competition,
Yeah.
it would be the African Championship. I came in 2nd place, and I was only 1 target away from 1st place and going to the Olympics. It was a heartbreaker, but at the same time, it was a great achievement for me. Also, on the Grand Prix in Kuwait, I did very well. I came in 3rd place, and it was
Kuwait
very,
is
very...
a heavyweight country when it comes
Yes,
to shooting.
they are one
whether
of the
for
best
men
countries.
Or females, yes.
Yes, especially that our team, especially women, they are not free to shoot whenever they want, in the sense that we work. In other competitions or in other international teams, like in Italy and around the world really, even Kuwait, Qatar and so on, they are professional shooters. So
Yep.
they train
They are.
all year long. And this is something that we don't get to do.
Let's cross our fingers that this is going to
I
change.
hope.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the targets themselves, I understand that there are a variety of targets, like not just the clay pigeon, but I understand there is something called crosser-driven, quartering, and other variety of targets. So have you tried other variety of targets, or you're mainly specialized in clay pigeon shooting?
I played 2 disciplines. I played the trap shooting, which is my discipline, and something called ZZ bird, or electro. We call it here in Egypt electro. It's different. It's like a fan, and you call for it, and it goes up, and then you have to hit it before a certain area. That's the 2 disciplines that I've tried before.
Suzanne, the sport you are involved in needs a lot of concentration.
Yeah.
And to focus on only one thing in your mind. Some shooters told me before that when they are that frustrated, depressed, having tension, something like that, and when they go to shoot, they get out of this mood completely.
This is true.
True.
During exams, I used to go to the club.
During
and,
exams?
Yeah, and shoot a couple of targets. You just get into the zone.
Yeah.
It's your own world. Nothing else exists. And it's a great feeling.
I mean, how have you prepared yourself to be completely isolated from the surroundings and to focus only on your target while being in training courses or in championships or in competition, I mean?
I thank my karate background for everything, really, because I used to play in stadiums full of people screaming, literally screaming. So you had to just find your own place and play as if nobody exists.
Katas or comité?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. I was Egypt champion for 5 consecutive years. Yes. So when I went to shooting, my reflexes were good and fast. So that's why I made it to the national team very quick. And when it comes to shooting, really, it's about just concentrating on the target. You're not focusing on the result, or else you ruin everything. It's just you and the target. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
You against the target. Nobody else matters. And when it comes to shooting, the audiences are not that huge, unfortunately. And usually they know the rules of the competition, so they stay quiet.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard to concentrate. The hard part is to be consistent. The ability to shoot consistently throughout the day. Because you wake up around 6, you have breakfast, and then you go to the shooting range, you start to prepare, and then you start shooting around 10. And you stay there on the range till around 4 or 5. If you're shooting the final, you can stay even longer. So the fact that you stay not influenced by anything throughout these hours, is the real challenge, because you can do very well at the beginning, and this is what most people do.
Yeah.
They do very well at the beginning, and then they have this pressure, and it becomes a burden, because like there is failure of losing, there is failure of winning.
Yes.
Yes, or this fear, sorry, of winning. You fear that, oh my God, this is the thoughts that you have. Oh my God, I'm doing very well. Then you start to feel that, oh my God, maybe I'm not going to do it. I have to concentrate more. And this way you put more pressure on yourself, which sometimes turns to be something negative.
Now, I'm quite curious about the thrust or the power that you need while holding the gun, because I understand that actually as the bullet is, as you're firing the bullet, there is a thrust for it.
And there's a recoil.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I'm quite interested in knowing how to acquire the balance.
It's not that hard
And
again.
to hold it, is it the way you hold the gun? Is it keeping yourself steady? How is it done?
Holding a gun is different than holding a shotgun.
Yes.
Because when you hold a gun, the recoil makes you move.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and it's
This
very
is what
hard because it affects your aim.
Yes.
But with shotguns, you put it exactly in a certain place, and this is what you learn. And when you put it in the correct place, you don't feel the recoil. Maybe if you're watching somebody shooting, you would see them going a little bit back.
Yeah.
And it seems to hurt, but it doesn't really. Because it's like you're a sponge, and your body just takes the recoil in.
Absorb it.
Yes, in
Yeah.
a way, without being hurt or anything.
Great.
So once you put it correctly, everything is fine. But before that, while training, of course, you used to have bruises, and it hurt a lot. But nowadays, it's
But
fine.
it comes with training. And since you were an expert when it comes to karate, of course, you had a lot of injuries
Yes.
before, so shooting is
True.
much more easier.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
what about the coming championships or the tournaments you're going to participate in? And who is choosing for you? Is it you who choose, or the federation?
Most of the time, it's the federation. It's not my choice.
Okay.
We have this pointing system according to which we make the national team. So I'm on the national team. So they tell us which competitions we can go to and which ones we are not allowed to go to. And again, it goes back to the budget and other things that they have to think about.
And what's
the next
nearest?
one
Yeah.
is the African Championship. It's going to be in Egypt, God willing, and it's going to be next month.
Inshallah.
Is there a particular opponent that you're worried about, that you feel that she's really good and you have to really train well or practice well?
In fact, I don't think that much about opponents, because if you think that much about other people, you don't concentrate on what you're doing. So this is the best way to fail.
Oh, that's
So-
that's a very good advice to people.
Yes, exactly. I think it applies to anything in life.
Sure.
In your studies, in your work, in anything. So what I focus on is just becoming a better version of myself. Because when you do something very well, they will have to compete with you and not the other way around. So you just have to focus on yourself. Maybe here in Egypt it's a bit hard to do that, because the number of shooters is not that big. So in other competitions you don't play in the same round, but here you play together every round. So you have to think about the score. It's something that you can't control. But I'm trying these days not to do that and just focus on what I'm doing.
And what are your preparations before going into any tournament? I mean, for example, do you double the exhausting hours of training, or it's your normal schedule? I mean, do you have special rituals before going to a championship or participating in a competition?
Yeah, most of the time. I work on weekdays, so I only have the weekend to train. But before a competition, I try to work to finish work and just go and train afterwards. Before a competition as well, I try to eat healthy, like a month before. Try to be on a diet, a good diet, and sleep well. This is the
Dear, you're very
most,
fit. And I was even asking myself just a few minutes ago in which kilograms category you were playing in when it comes to karate.
yeah.
50 something?
No, 40s.
40s, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yes, being fit doesn't have to do with how you look, really, because maybe you're slim and you look fit, but you're not. So I like to play other sports as
No,
well.
I meant, dear, that it's easier for you when you're slim.
Yes, of course it is.
Yes.
Yes. And I play duathlon. I don't know if you know the
Yeah.
sport. It's duathlon. You cycle and you run.
Yes.
And I usually compete each year in Sahl Hashish. And this year, in December, I think, I came in first place. So I enjoy
How many
really.
sports she's
She's a
doing?
multifaceted
Yeah.
athlete. I was just
Why
going
you're
to
here
ask-
I
today?
love
Just to tell us
sports.
that we should do so?
Yes.
I'm too old for this girl.
No,
Okay.
no, you're not. You're not. So
I'll be
it's
lucky if I
fun.
manage to go to the gym and she's doing all these sports. That's great, but actually, now I'm quite curious. You're doing a lot of sports, and I'm curious, why did you give up karate? Is it because of the lack of time? Is it because you got
Yes.
interested in another sport?
You have to choose at some point. I finished ثانوية عامة and I was heading to college. I only had time for one sport if I'm going to play it and and give it all I have. So I had to choose between the national team, karate national team, or the shooting national team. And in karate, I gave all I have, and I was the first on Egypt for a long time. And I didn't like really that much the federation because they had these rules that didn't fit with my schedule. I had to come to Cairo. I'm from Alexandria, and I had to
Okay.
come to Cairo 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And if you're going to
Is
go
it
to
traditional
college,
karate, Suzan?
yes.
Okay.
If you're going to go to college and leave for 3 days every week, this will affect my studies. And I didn't want something to affect my studies. I want to be well educated and at the same time play sports. So when it came to shooting, they were more flexible. So that's why I chose shooting.
This is great. And you are a decision maker. It seems so.
Not that much.
But I cannot deny the role of the family, the role of the
Yeah.
coaches, if you want to mention them and their support to you.
Of course. First of all, I want to thank my family and friends. My dad and my mother, they have this huge role in my life. My dad comes with me to every training, every single training. And he has to work as well. He has a lot to do. He has a social life. But he chooses to come with me. And it started years and years ago, since I was playing karate, and till now. Even the shooting training, he attends each and every training. And he likes to watch me. And this makes a huge difference.
Sure.
Nowadays, you see parents, they just drive their children to trainings. And they think that they are doing their part. It's not about, he's not a chauffeur. He's not a driver. Okay, this is not the role of a parent. Even if you are not able to attend
Look
each
at
and
you.
every...
This is what he did.
Yes,
He is Muhammad
Muhammad Gaber.
Gaber.
Yes.
Mr. Muhammad, thank you very much for what you've done. Thank you very much for all the family of Suzan, because she is such a representative of how a young lady should be.
Thank you.
Dear Suzan, thank you very much for your input and have a very
Thank you.
good day.
Thank you.
Well, and that brings us to the end of this episode of Breakfast Show. But first of all, I have to thank my colleague. Thank you very much, Naomi.
I enjoyed my time as usual, Rasha. Tomorrow is another day and we're going to be together.
Yes.
Wait for us tomorrow. Same time to International. And for more details, please log on to www.nileinternational.net. Thanks for watching. This was Rasha Madi and Nermeen Abdurrahman.